We suggest watching the 4 videos related to each past tense on the channel before watching this video. You can find the links in the description. They will help you better understand the answers. However, there is the audio commentary on the answers at the end of this video as well. All the following sentences in this quiz tell one story and are interrelated. So sometimes you will have to choose the answer based on the whole context and not only one single sentence. Hello and welcome to the grammar lesson for the past tenses. In the 15 questions in this quiz, we needed to use the 4 types of past tense, including past simple, progressive, perfect, and perfect progressive. Before checking the answers to the questions, let's have a look at each past tense separately. First, past simple. Well, as we know, past simple is an action which happens in the past at a specific time. So we usually use it to talk about single completed actions in the past, repeated or habitual actions, general truth, permanent situations and states in the past, and the main events in a story. Well, let's have an example for each function. Single completed actions, like the company invented the new technology in 1987. Well, we have a single action, inventing a new technology at a specific time. Second one, repeated or habitual actions. We moved house a lot when I was a kid. Well, moving house happened a lot. We use past simple. Third function, general truths about past, like early clocks were usually very unreliable. Well, that's a general truth. Everyone knew about it. We use past simple to talk. Permanent situations and states in the past, like the Egyptians had more advanced technology than the other civilizations. Well, that was a permanent situation and a state in the past. We use past simple to talk about that. And finally, the main events in a story. We know that we usually use past tenses to tell stories. And when the action is something single and, well, just reporting one single act, we use past simple. Like she turned on the TV and sat on the sofa. Well, a summary of the functions of past simple: single completed actions, repeated or habitual actions, general truths, permanent situations and states, and main events in a story. Next tense, past progressive. Well, past progressive happens in the past like past simple, with a main difference. It is not one single action. It is an action over a period of time, something in progress. Well, so we use it to talk about actions in progress at or around a particular moment, temporary situations, changing and developing situations, annoying or amusing habits, usually with always, background information in a story, actions in progress over a period of time, and two actions happening at the same time. Well, let's have some examples for each function. Actions in progress at or around a particular moment. Were you chatting to Jack online at midnight last night? Well, we have a specific point, midnight, and one action was going on at that moment, chatting. Next function, temporary situations, like at the time I was working for a large company in France. Well, it was a temporary situation, but over a time. We use past progressive. Next function, changing and developing situations. I was getting frustrated with my car, so I decided to change it. Well, the frustration was something developing over a time. Annoying or amusing habits with always. When he was a kid, Thomas was always taking things apart to see how they worked. Well, this habit, taking things apart, was an annoying or maybe amusing fact about this kid. Background information in a story. While I was driving back home, it was raining. Actions in progress over a period. Were you writing your report all yesterday morning? Well, we consider a period of time, yesterday morning, and the report writing was happening over the time. And finally, two actions in progress at the same time. While we were doing the test, the teacher was helping some students with their questions. Well, when two actions are developing together, we can use past progressive for both. Well, the summary: actions in progress, temporary situations, changing and developing situations, annoying or amusing habits with always, background information, actions over a period of time in the past, and two actions at the same time. Next tense is past perfect. Past perfect happens in the past just like past simple and past progressive, but we use it when we want to emphasize on order of actions. Well, we have two actions. Well, naturally, we talk with past simple about the action which happens in the past, but if I want to emphasize on priority of another action, on order of another action which happens before past simple, I have to use past perfect. Well, That is why we use past perfect to talk about situations, states, and completed actions before a moment in the past. A series of actions continuing up to a moment in the past, and completed actions where important thing is the result at a moment in the past. Let's see some examples to clarify the points. Situations, states, and completed actions before a moment in the past. Let's see an example to clarify the point. When talking films appeared, the cinema had already become a popular entertainment. Well, this is a past action. Talking films appeared. But I want to emphasize on another fact before that. The cinema had already become a popular entertainment. Well, the cinema becoming a popular entertainment happened first, then talking films appeared. So I use past perfect for first action and past simple for next action or second action. Second function, series of actions continuing up to a moment in the past. By the time of his death, Thomas Edison had invented a number of things that changed everyday life. Well, time of death of Thomas Edison is a past action, but before that, a series of actions, number of inventions had happened. And the last function, completed actions where the important thing is the result at a moment in the past. I beat Tom at International Captain because I had played it a lot with my brother. Well, as you see, beating in a competition happens in the past, and the reason, the result is because the person had a lot of practice. Well, the summary of the functions, situations, states, and completed actions before a moment in the past, series of actions up to a moment, and completed actions where the result is important. And finally, the last past tense, past perfect progressive. Well, we use it to talk about an action which continued up to a moment in the past. Well, we say actions and situations continuing up to a moment in the past. Well, the example, she had been writing computer games for 10 years before she finally had a hit. Well, if we want to show this example on the, let me get back, here. If I want to show it on the graph, well, this is the moment, this is the time, past simple. He had or she had a hit. But before this moment, she had been writing games for over 10 years. Well, thank you for your attention, and let's start the audio commentary. Well, in the audio commentary, we are going to apply the functions and uses of the 4 past tenses on the questions, 15 questions in the quiz, of course, as you know, and you may have read in the beginning of the video. These questions make up a story altogether. So sometimes the context from previous sentences will be important in choosing the answer. I mean, if the sentence was a single sentence, maybe sometimes during these 15 questions, some other options would be correct. But since we are going to consider the whole story, the context of all questions, well, that would be affecting the answers. Well, question 1. Eric and Ilsa are brother and sister. They grow up together in the city that used to be known as West Berlin in the former West Germany. Okay, well, apparently the speaker is talking about past, used to be known. They grow up together. So we have to use a past tense and simply a past simple, because there is no other indication of developing action or order of actions. So the answer is simply past simple. Well, number two, Eric to the United States decades ago before, before a moment in the past. Well, this should be past perfect, before the eastern and western parts of both Berlin and Germany were reunited in 1990. Well, we have one action, the eastern and western parts of both Berlin and Germany reunited, and this person, Eric, moved to United States before this. So this moving to United States should be in past perfect, had moved. Next one, Ilsa and her family visit Eric and his family last year. Well, we need a past simple. There is no developing or, order of actions. Visited. Next one, Ilsa's family from Berlin to Detroit for the visit. Again, a simple action, flew. Well, 5. Although the children, again, before, we are talking about before the meeting. So this one should be past perfect. Had never met, except through email, the families, a great time together. Well, this is a past. So had never met and had a great time together. Next one, every day for a week, the adults and children. Well, we have an ing form here, so I have to use a progressive form, maybe simple progressive or past perfect progressive. Well, but since there is no indication of up to a point, I simply will use past progressive, past simple progressive. Number 7, one day they some German recipes that in the family 4 generation. Well, this one was before, their meeting. So second one should be perfect tense and first one simple. They cooked some recipes that had been in the family. 4 years, Ilsa, them, and treasuring. Well, I have an ing form here, and the idea is keeping and saving and treasuring them up to a point. So past perfect progressive, had been saving them, and their mother had given her just before she died. Again, we have a before, giving the recipe to her happened before this. So we use past perfect for giving the recipe. Number 9, one of their mother's favorites, well, simply was a dessert called apple cushion. One night after everyone else went to bed. Okay, so this happened, this going to bed happened before their activity. So going to bed should be used with past perfect. Well, that would be had already gone to bed. Erica and Ilsa, well, a progressive one, were quietly sitting and talking. 11. What have you missed most about Berlin? Ilsa wanted to know. Eric, well, a simple past is needed here. Then answered, paused and answered. 12. The kids and I had some books about Berlin and Germany for a while before you and your family arrived. Well, before a moment in the past, one action was in progress. Well, that is exact definition of past perfect progressive. Kids and I had been looking at some books before you and your family arrived. 13. The function, the action is discussing, and because it is something in progress, we should use a progressive tense. We were discussing the Brandenburg Gate when friends interrupted to ask why its image, well, had been used as a design of the coins back when Germany had converted its money to euros. Well, we have a past tense. Germany converted its currency to euros, and we are talking about before that. So I need a past perfect tense, and because the coin, the image, is the subject, is not the subject of the sentence, but the object, so I use a passive voice, passive form of the verb, had been used. Number 14, what? Well, a simple question about past. What did you tell him? And finally, I said that I was not sure, but that I thought it was because the gate, a symbol of Germany. Well, it was printed, the gate's picture was printed on the coins in the past. Why it was printed? Because before that, it had become a symbol. Well, printing the gate on the coins is an action in the past, and becoming the symbol of Germany is something that happened before that. Well, thank you, and I hope you enjoyed the lesson.